That would be me.
Look who we're hanging with.
Brian O'Halloran.
Jason David Frank.
Humberto Ramos.
Please do not change channel.
Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin' With Web Show. I'm GW Commenter. Thank you so much for logging on and tuning in. If you haven't, we'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe. We really would appreciate it. I mean, I'll do nice things I'll come over and do your dishes. Probably it's not going to happen. But if you subscribe, you're going to see some great stuff because we're here with authors right now at the I Love Books author signing event in Jacksonville, Florida. It's put on by the Florida Writers Association. And we get to hang with Cynthia Byrd Conner, the author of Quiet Strong.
Yes.
And this is a very personal story for you.
Yes, it definitely was a labor of love for me.
This is the story of
my father,
your father.
Master Chief Boatswain Sherman Byrd. He was the first African-American explosive ordnance disposal technician in the armed forces. And I include armed forces because EOD is the only joint service badge. You know, it goes across to the Army, Navy, Marines, and Air Force.
Yeah, and all y'all out there, whether you're airmen, Marines, sailors or soldiers, you know these guys. These are the guys you call when you don't know what to do with bad stuff. And I was going to say they know what to do with it, but really, man, they're just crazy guys, man. They're out there doing it. And they do it wartime, peacetime, it don't matter. They're out there doing their jobs. So, why did you want to tell this story? First of all, it's wonderful to be able to have that in your heritage. To say the very first African-American EOD ordnance chief was your dad.
Was my dad.
That's amazing. And thank you and your family for your service.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
My family is a service-oriented family. One of the things that we pass down is the rich traditions that the service has for inclusion.
Yes.
Because your family and my family and the families that we know, the things we see on the news today.
Oh my.
Our day was a long time ago. We don't even understand how these people can have these problems.
Right.
Because our day was so long ago.
Yes.
Our day was back in your dad's day. Our day was back in my grandfather's day.
Yes.
And we all came together around the world's greatest and most historic events.
Yes.
And the
You're
civilian
so right.
world is just now getting there. Well, they'll get there someday.
I was going to say they have a long way to go.
They have a long way to go, but they'll get there someday. This is an amazing story, though, because these are the stories that are going to inspire these young people to get there.
It is. It's a story of how my father persevered through the early 50s, late 40s, early 50s, when the Navy was first integrating. And he persevered with the glass is half full attitude. And I would like for other young people to know that you can make it through hard times. You can make it through hard times and that there is a process of improving. And my dad handled that very well, and I was encouraged. And he broke a lot of barriers. He was a deep sea diver, and it was a barrier there, a color barrier there. He went to scuba diving after that, and then on to EOD. And one thing about a bomb, you know,
it does
not discriminate.
No.
It does not discriminate.
Yeah.
And
you know what? The Army grunt in me says insert joke here, but it ain't funny.
Yes.
It's a dangerous job.
It's a very dangerous
job.
job.
Deep sea diver was a dangerous job.
Yes.
And again, to do it in a time when, as you said, the Navy was just integrating, the services were coming, you know, we were starting to see things in the service that would become commonplace today.
Yes.
You know, I served just 20 years ago.
Okay.
Not that long ago, comparatively. But everything is OD green, man.
Yeah.
That's the only color that matters.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in the Navy, everything is denim.
Yes.
You know,
that blue and gold.
That's right. And so, but you know, I think these kinds of stories, that's not the world we live in out here every day.
Right.
And these kinds of stories, this is going to drive young people because they need to see.
They do.
If you can do it in a place where we are steeped in tradition and steeped in history, and we don't give that stuff up easy.
That's true.
We fight and kick and scream the whole time, and I know your dad had to go through some mighty hurdles.
He did, and he persevered through them. And you know, during my father's time, they used to call him a sea daddy. Now they call it sea daddy, and now they call them mentors. But my dad was the type of person that poured into the younger sailors coming in the military, taught them everything he knew, and he enjoyed it. And as every chief does, they practice what they preach. They practice what they preach, and they try to show the younger sailors by example. And I'm really honored that he chose this field and he made the best of it.
Is this your first book?
This is my first book.
This is your first book.
It's a labor of love. It took me 7 years to write it, and it's considered under 3 genres. It's a military book, it's a history book, and it's a religious book. And all those 3 things are entwined in that. Wow. And it's also called a crossover, where I wrote it to target high schoolers, but the adults enjoy it so much that they are one of my most popular groups of people that purchase the book.
This is because this has got a little bit of everything.
It's got a little bit of everything.
You're making history, you're sharing history,
yes,
and you're telling a very human story about perseverance and what it means to succeed by your own wits.
Yes.
It is going. Yes. I mean, these are days when individualism, in a place where the individual is not that big a deal, but that individual drive and spirit are, and needing that. And so you picked a really good story to tell.
Yes. Yes.
Are you planning on doing more writing?
I am. I wrote this as a trilogy.
Trilogy.
It's a trilogy. This
is
part 1. How many daddies you got? This part 1 takes from when he entered the military in 1947 and goes to when he made chief. The second book will go from chief to senior chief, and the third will go from senior chief to master chief, because at each one of those supervisory positions, you have a different set of things that you have, different leadership styles, and I wanted to capture that because he went through Vietnam, the Korean War, Vietnam, the death of President Kennedy, and you were asking me earlier, why did I decide to write a book?
Yeah.
Well, as a child, my father died when I was 13 years old, and he was 40, and my mother, they always told us he was a Navy diver and he was good at what he did, but we didn't know he disarmed bombs during the day. That's something you would not share with a 13-year-old. So how we found out was the Navy in 2009 contacted our family, and they were dedicating a 45-acre training facility in his honor, and they were inviting us to the dedication.
So you're just sitting there wondering.
My sister told me, well, we really would like to come, but what in the world did Dad do? Yeah. So that inspired me to write the book.
That's
awesome. So it took me 2 years to get started. I didn't start writing until 2011, but the research, I did a whole lot of research on this, and it needed it because he did so many things. So I think you will enjoy this in a narrative form. Mm-hmm. He did a very technical job, but when you're reading it, it doesn't sound like a technical book.
What's great about this is that adults and young people, if you don't have a slant toward history, then there's still something in here for you, because the service is a unique environment.
It does.
If you don't have a slant toward the service and you're more interested in the history, you have that. And if you're more interested in the world around your dad, you
Yes.
can see a lot of that because it impacts him. It has things like the death of President Kennedy.
Yes.
That has an impact
It
on
does.
a young serviceman.
It
and
does.
what that means. So I think thank you so much for sharing this story.
Oh,
with
you're
readers,
so
because,
welcome.
I know that your family for years to come are going to have these books.
Yes, they will.
And they're going to be able to look back and they're going to know what
Yes.
happened. But more
Yes.
importantly than that, I think it's important that my family and all of the other service families, we get to know about your dad too.
Oh, thank you.
And we're gonna make sure we put links up here so you can find Quiet Strong. This is book 1 of 3.
That's
book
right.
1 of 3, and we are going to follow Master Chief
Yes.
through his journey to becoming Master Chief,
Yes.
and that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is really fantastic.
And my vision is this book and then a movie, the second book and then a movie, and then the third book and a movie. That's my
Well,
vision.
we're going to tell the World Wide Web right now, Hollywood.
Hollywood.
We got
Give me a call.
We got to start right there.
An American hero.
This is an American. This is a true American
True
hero
American
in
hero.
every way, shape, or form. It's been written many times. It's been said many times that those of us who did not serve as heroes served in the company of heroes.
Yes. Yes.
And certainly that's your dad. So thank you very much
Thank
for that.
you.
Where are you going to be next? Where can people find this book and get it signed and all those neat things next?
Well, I do have a book signing coming up
Okay.
on May the 26th.
May the 26th.
And I've been very fortunate for AT&T to partner with me.
Wonderful.
Yes, they've partnered with me in support and appreciation of the military. And we're having a book signing at the River City Marketplace on May the 26th from 5 to 7 p.m. And the beautiful thing about this is we're pouring back into the young high schoolers because the Navy Junior ROTC is assisting me at the book signing. And they
Awesome.
get 5 checks in the box, 1 for history, 1 for uniform inspection, 1 for public speaking because they're reading the excerpts from the book, and community service. So AT&T wants to say thank you to all of the clients that they have that are military. And of course, I want to say thank you to the military
Absolutely.
for their sacrifices. I understand the sacrifice.
Well, I'll tell you
understand
what,
the sacrifice.
And you've had a career in public service yourself. 24
Yes.
years for the Department of the Navy.
Department of the
As a
Navy.
civilian working here in the rear.
Yes.
Making sure that, you know what? If these guys don't do what they do, believe me, I remember the movie The Right Stuff years ago. It was about the guys that went to the moon and about those guys. And they quoted one of those astronauts as saying that that what really makes airplanes fly, they said the bucks are what puts the buck at Buck Rogers. And so it's you guys in the rear to keep those ships floating.
Yes,
We can make them as lightweight, we can make them as sturdy as we possibly can, but it's everybody back here at home that's doing the work, and those service families to keep those men happy and keep them going back out to sea. So,
Yes.
and women today, by the way. I did not mean that to come out that way.
Right.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. Every
Yes.
single one of you do. That's my shut up card,
Yes.
because otherwise we're just going to sit here and talk
Yes,
about
we can
our
talk on
families
and
and our
on.
service
Yes.
forever and ever and ever.
We love the military.
We are going to say thank you to our partners and friends at Something Unique Magazine, Famous Faces and Funnies, Krypton Radio, Off the Chain Radio with author Yvonne Mason, Space Coast Comics, Asylum Convention Entertainment Services, our great friends here at iHeart Books, and the Florida Writers Association. And we're going to say thank you to all of our servicemen and women out there,
Thank
past,
you so
present,
much
and
for your
future.
service.
And thank you so much for sharing your father's story
Thank
with the
you.
world. I know we're all gonna learn from this. So we've been hanging with Cynthia Byrd Conner, the author of Quiet Strong,
Yes.
which is based on the true story of Master Chief Boatswain's mate, Sherman Byrd.
Yes.
I read all that, so you can read it too. Guys, remember, come back for more later on. Subscribe, log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next.